Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're going to be looking at how to tune the big boy, the bass drum. So, to tune the bass drum, you're going to notice that it's a little bit different to all of our other drums. With our bass drum, you can hit both drum heads. Therefore, you don't have any really resonant head per se. However, they do resonate as well. But you also do have two batter heads. Let me explain. If you hit one side, the sound will travel through the drum, vibrate in the shell, and exit out on the other side. And the same would happen if you do the same on the other drum head. So there's a few considerations to take in when we're tuning this drum. So to start out with, I'm going to take this apart just as we have done for all of our previous videos. And once again, guys, if you're unsure of which videos I'm on about, make sure you click the link in the description so that you can check out our snare and tenor videos. So I'm going to go right on ahead and find a spot to start. I'm going to start right here next to me, right near the logo, just so it's easy and I can remember. Also remember and note that with your bass drum, you have some slightly different parts. You'll notice that your tension rods are a lot longer because the drum is of course bigger. You will have slightly longer lugs as well, and you will also have a claw that actually grips onto the bass drum hoop, which is made out of wood most of the time. You can get them made out of metal as well, but in this case for this drum that we have here, it's made out of wood. So we're going to go on ahead. As you know, we always need to make sure that we raise our drum heads up equally, so we work in opposites. So I'm going to make a start here, start loosening up, and as we get looser, we stop and we go on to the next one so that we can raise the drum up nice and equally. And here we notice it's pretty loose here, so I would stop there, go on to the next one, start loosening it up. And we do the same here. And onto the final set. Keep everything together, pop it in the middle, use your fingers. Out they come. So just to show you that claw that I'm saying, so here's that claw that we have here. Can you see that curvature that you've got here? And you've got a nice long tension rod that goes through it. Just simply pops through the hole that's there and it slides in just like that. Okay, so that's the claw that hooks onto the hoop. So we're going to continue to take out the rest of these. And I like to keep things nice and tidy. I don't want to throw my tension rods everywhere. I like to keep things in one place. So I'll put it in the middle of the drum head, just on top. Just put it down gently so you don't damage your drum head. And of course, as always, the rule of thumb is always working in opposites. I'm going to rotate this drum a little bit. Okay, great. So once you have all of those off, as we always would like to do is that whenever you are taking your drum apart or any tuning that you are trying to do, it's a great time to really check your drum. Always check your drum. See if there's any dust. You want to get rid of the dust. It shouldn't have dust. Yeah, you want to make it nice and clean. So you take off your hoop here. We've got a nice round wooden hoop. Okay, these are great because they very rarely warp. With the metal hoops, they warp very easily. With these wooden ones, they tend to keep their shape a lot better. I find that they last a bit longer. You'll find them in the more higher quality drums, and you know, they just work really well. So I'm going to go ahead and put that to the side, and I'm going to take my drum head up, lift it up. And you guys noticed right there, you probably saw a piece of felt or fabric that just fell into the drum. We've been using this for a very particular purpose. You can use almost anything. You can use a bed sheet, a duvet, a t-shirt. I've seen all sorts. But we use this to primarily also not only just to bring depth to the drum, but it also helps prolong the life of your drum head because it takes a lot of the impact. So that when you have a slightly looser tuned drum head, instead of the actual head bending in and creating more, you know, aggressive damage to the drum head, it is basically absorbed by this sheet, which I really love to use. So it's a 2-in-1. It actually, you know, creates a nice low tone in the drum, and you know, it protects that drum head a little bit more. So again, you want to make sure that you have one of these. This is a great thing to have. You want to double check your drum head, your drum head that you've just taken off. You want to check for any dust or residue of anything that is inside the drum. Check for flies, check for dust, check for bolts, nuts, anything that may have fallen into the drum. You want to get that out. So I'm going to go ahead with this drum. Again, these are fairly new. I haven't got much to worry about. They've just had their drum heads changed on these, but this is obviously for demonstration purposes for all of you guys out there that are watching our videos. And speaking of which, this is a great time for you guys to make sure you like and subscribe to this video, because we really would appreciate your support. So moving on, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask for some assistance. You're going to need a couple of people to help you with this stage. At this stage, what you're going to do is you're going to attempt to put your piece of cloth across the shell, and you notice that if it's loose, it goes in. If it's pulled tight, it goes up. We want it to be nice and tight up against that drum head, so that we are able to get that full effect that we've just mentioned earlier on. So I'm going to ask for a bit of help, and I'm going to ask 2 people to come up, and they're just going to simply grab one side of the drum for the fabric each, and they will place it over. Just line that up. That's it. That looks great. And I'm going to go ahead, bring back my drum head, place it on top. I'll try and line it up as much as I can with the fabric. Again, we like to use logos. Logos are a great way to actually line everything up. And what I'll do is I'll count them down, and then after 3, what they'll do is they're going to pull downwards. When they pull downwards, that sheet comes up against the drum head so that we're able to get that effect. Be careful when you guys are replacing your hoops. What you're going to find is that there is a rounded edge and there's a flat edge. The flat edge is the edge that needs to go on the shell, okay, or on your drum head rather. So the rounded area is for that claw, because the claw is rounded. The flat part is for the drum head. So at the moment, they don't need to put much tension on. What I need to do is start putting these in place. So as we do with everything, we go finger tight. Okay. And we're always working in opposites. It's a good habit to have. So remember that whenever you're doing this, some make the mistake of not doing opposites on a bass drum. The problem with not doing opposites on a bass drum, especially if it's not a wooden hoop, is you very easily warp the drum head, and you can also warp the actual drum hoop. Okay, so you've just got to be careful. Make sure that you are doing opposites, keeping everything nice and equal. Take your time, don't rush anything. There we go. And I'm just going to get these right next to my friend here. And opposite. Next to my friend here. Okay. Great. So we've got all these now pretty much in at finger tight. Now that we're at finger tight, this is where the fun actually happens. Now what you want to be wary of is that it takes a bit of strength from the two of these guys to be pulling down. I don't want them to be on it for too long, it's just not great for them. So what I will be doing is I'll be starting on the 4 lugs that are closest to them. So what I will do is I'll go from here to here, from here to here. Once I've got these down, I'll probably whiz around these a little bit quite quickly so that they are able to release from the tension on their own hands, okay? So we're gonna go right on ahead and do that. I'll count down after 3 and then the 2 of you just pull it down. You ready? 1, 2, 3, and down and up the sheet comes. I'll do 3 turns here. Great. I'll come around the drum now. Two and 3, and they should be able to loosen up now and let go. And there you have it. It is now in place. It's locked in place now. So all we have to do now is get the tone that we want. So as with the tenors, it's very similar in terms of the sound that you want from your bass. So you need to be thinking about what sound do I want for my drum corps? Do I want my bass line to sound really heavy, really meaty and low? Or do you want it to be a higher pitch? So at the moment, my preference is a nice low end bass drum. Whatever you do on this drum head, you copy on the other so that you have the same sound throughout the drum, okay? So at the moment, let's have a listen to the sound that I have now. That's pretty low pitched, but I don't want it that low. So I'm gonna tighten it up a little bit. Maybe do 1.5 turns and let's see how it sounds from there. So once again, I'm gonna pick a spot to start with. I'm gonna go right here next to the logo on my right, your left, and I'll do 1.5. And work my way around the drum. Keeping it nice and equal, nice and steady. Okay, that's my 1.5. Let's have a listen. A little bit higher pitched, but nice and meaty. So that's pretty good. I'm happy with this, but I hope that you guys did too. Make sure you tell us what you thought of this video and make sure you use the comments and get in touch with us if you need any help. And that's it, guys. That is how you tune your bass drum.